Hey, you've asked for it. Welcome to part 2 of Let's Game It Out's crazy nuclear waste episode. This one's actually called I Used Drones to Make a Nightmare Factory Even Worse, that being from the previous episode. But hey, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tyler Fultz. I'm a nuclear engineer with a little over 10 years of experience in the commercial nuclear power industry, from engineering to operations to emergency response. I don't claim to know everything there is nuclear, but I can certainly share some knowledge. Let's get right into it.
Then this, and also some of this. Eventually we reach nuclear power. It produces a lot of energy, but more than that, it produces beautiful toxic byproducts.
Nuclear waste is radioactive, as said previously, but it looks nothing like this. And it is not processed anything like this.
Each and every one of those barrels that's actively hurting me while I talk. That's okay though. I've got my handy dandy inhaler here, so whenever my health is getting me down... Anyway, let me...
If only that could happen in real life, but I know it's for the purpose of a gameplay mechanic, but yeah, nothing you inhale can help you with the dose you receive from nuclear waste.
The grand tour before we get started. Here we have sumptuous radiation issues, followed by even more radiation issues, and we're gonna have to figure this out fast, because I don't know what happened, but this place is definitely cursed now. And even more Oh, it looks like things have kind of come to a standstill. I guess it makes sense, though. After all, over here on this side of our base, the land of nuclear power plants, there's been a couple of...
Look at the dirty exhausts, too. It shows like they're emitting just like coal, when really from cooling towers, it's just water vapor. That's it. A lot of nuclear plants don't even have cooling towers, including the one I worked at. Just had a massive reservoir. But yeah, waste product from cooling towers is just water vapor.
Changes since we were last here. See, the last time we were in this base was before they added fluid to the game. And now that all of these beauties have been magically retrofitted, it requires not just these, which are uranium fuel rods, but it also requires that we have water to cool the whole thing down, which obviously we don't have.
So they didn't have water at these nuclear power plants. Okay, what did they use to moderate the flow of neutrons? So when I say moderate, really just slow them down. Neutrons will not actually cause fissions if they are moving too fast. So what water also does is act as a moderator to slow down the neutrons so that can cause fission. Water isn't the only thing that can act as a moderator. In Chernobyl, they used graphite as a moderator. Water is generally way better, both in terms of efficiency and in terms of nuclear safety. But how are these reactors supposed to work? They don't. Or does the game not even get into that?
This giant gaping hole, which means that we've got all of these plants and none of them are working right now. Which honestly is probably both good and bad. Good because no working means no nuclear wasty. The bad is these being offline means we don't have any power coming to our base. Don't worry though, we're gonna get this all back online. And the first step...
They're offline, why are they still making emissions? If a plant shut down, so let's say it is just water vapor and it's like a normal plant, the circulating water system, which would involve the use of the cooling towers causing emissions, it wouldn't be making any steam because that part of the plant's shut down. The turbine is offline, which produces electricity. So the turbine that produces electricity would be offline. So there's no reason for them to be having any emissions.
Going to be getting all this radiation out of here. First things first, we're going to need some items. Good thing we've got materials everywhere. Not to mention stockpiles of the best stuff. A whole container full of things that blow up. And me with a detonator.
Oh boy.
And you know what that means. I can't just blow this stuff up by hand, can I? Well, it was worth a shot.
I know a lot of game mechanics have things that are indestructible, but you could blow up one of those containers of nuclear waste and just spread it everywhere. Well, that's a bunch of gooey stuff. It's not realistic nuclear waste, but you could still spread stuff anyway. Generally, blowing up any type of waste will make little more than a mess.
To know where these things are anyway. So step one is we gotta flush out all of these barrels, or else I don't think reality is ever coming back together again.
I've heard the Let's Game It Out folks like to push these games to their absolute limits, so they cause a bunch of graphical glitches. But if you're in an area with a lot of radioactivity, it's going to mess with your camera quality a bit. So I actually kind of like that. That's one bit of realism he's throwing in there. Making it ultra high radiation dose could also be causing the glitches. Or is it the other way around?
So we're gonna go all the way over here to the outskirts of this madness. I see you flying up there, don't judge me. And basically we need to figure out how to get all these barrels out from our base. Let's just use this convenient thing called a splitter, and then we'll build out a conveyor belt from there, and we'll just keep running this, and we'll just take it all the way to the edge here. I'm not really sure what the plan is, seeing as how there's nothing down here. But hey, at least it's getting all this waste away from the rest of my factories. And at the end,
Just the idea of seeing it on the conveyor belt is still just hilarious to me.
all this, we'll go ahead and put a nice big storage container. There you go, fellas. Welcome to your temporary new home. So while we wait for all of this stuff to finish filtering out of here, let's get some other vital stuff done. As mentioned, for the time being, none of these are working. You know, I know where there is working power though, and it's just one quick slide away. Ah, home sweet second home. I missed you, security blanket of pipes and conveyor belts and materials. Anyway, we're not here for sightseeing. No, we're here for that power. That dirty, environmentally unfriendly coal power.
So we made coal plants, but in this game, are the coal plants actually better than nuclear plants since they don't produce that kind of crazy waste? Because the main drawbacks of coal plants are all the emissions, greenhouse gases, of the actual generation aspect. Yeah, the mining of coal also has its own hazards associated with it, just like the mining of uranium. If this game makes coal cleaner than nuclear, that would be crazy.
Just go ahead and connect one of these power lines, and let's go ahead and build all the way back. Starting from there, this is us, all the way back to our other base. Super easy to just run these forever. Don't worry, this isn't gonna take any time at all. And we always know when we're getting closer to home because the frame rate takes a dive and everything hurts. Although, now that I'm in the main part of the factory, I think all the radiation's been filtered out, and I'm not taking damage anymore. I'm so happy it's time to use my inhaler again. Looks like the barrels are still coming, which shows that the process is working all the way to barrel heaven. And we know that for sure because look at our glorious radiation levels. Quite the radioactive vessel. And as we get close,
What is this thing supposed to do?
I'm really hurting. Now, in theory, this should be enough, because the farther away we get, the lower the radiation goes. And if we're
That's true. I wonder if this game follows the inverse square law like it does in real life. You double your distance from the source of radiation, your effective dose will go down by a factor of 4.
enough away, the radiation goes away entirely. But I don't want to lose this entire area to that. Isn't there a way we can get rid of this stuff permanently? Most other items in the game you can just throw in the little trash can here. Oh, but not these barrels.
Is he gonna try to find an underground repository for all these barrels? It'd be good if we could have an underground repository for that in real life. There were a lot of them were discussed, such as Yucca Mountain, but that's just one of the sad things about nuclear waste in real life. We have the technology, we have the solution, but nobody wants to do anything about it. Very sad.
Doesn't want you to do that. All right, let's leave this for a second and come over here, and let's test some stuff on an area that doesn't have radiation. Okay, so getting rid of stuff. We can't just grab an item, drag it out of our inventory, because then it goes straight here on the ground. And sure, we can throw these things, but no other items can we throw like that. So I wonder if there is any way we can...
What is this, some type of crazy abyss to nowhere?
Oh, what the hell did that? You? You knocked me off? Oh, I bet you guys think you're so clever, don't you, huh? Oh, well, we learned something new just now. Those guys can throw themselves off. So the question is, can we somehow attach the radiation to these fellas and then just lead them off a cliff? Okay.
There's your idea. I've heard some crazy ideas for nuclear waste removal, such as launching them into space, but never heard of have rhinoceros run into nuclear waste and knock them off a cliff.
Hold on, I got an idea. Let's build out a couple of little platforms, and then let's add some walls. Okay. Hey, come back here. I have need of you. Come on, come on. Okay, better. Stay right there. I'm just gonna put something on top of you. Easy. Well, technically it's on top of him, but I don't think it's part of him. Nope, definitely not. Of course, I think we have another question. Can this little guy carry a stack of barrels? Only one way to find out. Come on, little guy. Okay, where were we? Get ready for a journey. Oh, hey, he found me some flower petals. That's so sweet. I love you too. I'll take those. And here, you have these 258 barrels of toxic waste. And Lizard Doggo seems unaffected by the tremendous amount of radiation.
There you go. That's the solution to nuclear waste right there. Pocket dimensions. All right.
You know what happens next, right? Now, let's see. How am I going to get you to want to be down there? What if we build some platforms all the way out here? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, mission
Yep. Trap platforms.
successful. Oh, let's do it again. Hey there, little guy. I've got something for you. Good God, that took forever. But at least we got him. Make yourselves at home in the waiting room. Here, I'll even give you a window to look through. All right, so here's the thing. I've been doing some thinking, and I don't know if I can bear to watch them fall down onto the cliffs below. I mean, after all, look at these little guys. Look at those little faces. They deserve better than that. That's why instead, we're gonna use something else. Jump pads. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and... Excellent. All right, I guess we need to test if it works. Yep, that'll about do it. All right, come on, little guy. Let's get you all suited up. Okay, okay, okay. You know what to
500
do.
barrels.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say that was...
There you go. Catapulting off the cliff. That's all you need. Weird lizard, dog creatures, catapults, and pocket dimensions.
Housing success. And before you know it, our nuclear waste problems are solved. Okay, come on out,
Of course, begs the question how many of them could fit in that crazy abyss, or what's even down there.
fellas. You look all ready for prime time. Let's not just wander them over here. Instead, let's aim a bounce pad back this direction, build a couple layers up, and we'll put the other bouncy thingy at the top here. Okay. There you go. Oh, you guys spread each other out. Well, at least that one made it. Oh, God. And for this one, let's see if we can get nothing but net.
Basketball goal.
Well, looks like that took care of the radiation. Time to deal with the next mess. Getting all this back online. We do still have to deal with radiation, of course, because to power these plants, we use these uranium fuel rods. But it shouldn't be too hard to deal with.
Again, fresh uranium fuel, not going to get any dose from it, because the alpha particles won't penetrate the cladding of the fuel.
To do is focus on the water part. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten that this one needs water too. First things first is we need to locate a water source. And you know, I think I know just the place. Oh yeah, and this reactor over here too. Okay, so all we really need to do is find some nice deep water. You know, this water doesn't appear to be terribly deep. Maybe it'll work anyway, let's see. Time for some water extraction. Yep, looks like it's gonna be just fine. Okay, and now all we need to do is run some pipes. Hey, I'm sure this will be just fine, right? Pretty sure water doesn't naturally want to go uphill like that. But what do I care what water wants? I just care that it connects. Okay, and with that all connected, the entire base still doesn't have power, so we need to draw upon our power lines that are from the other base. I'm glad that you can drag these power lines out over to a cliff and then right into a waterfall. Whatever, they'll allow it, so I'll do it.
That is just so silly. And again, the very idea of siting nuclear power plants without a water source next to it, because they do use a lot of water in cooling the reactor, cooling the secondary plant, the condenser for the main turbine. It's used in a lot of safety and emergency shutdown systems, emergency cool down rather.
Let's see, how are we doing? Water appears to be extracting at a perfectly whatever flow rate, and you can tell it's doing its job by this little thing here because of the things doing things. As you can tell, I totally understand how
If your pipe starts doing that when you walk past it, that's probably not a good thing.
water works in this game. The important part is that if we come all the way over here and we check the pipes, we can see the water's running all the way here just fine. And if we look at the plant itself, water's all there, uranium's all there. Looks like power is back on the menu. And onward to the other power plants. All right, excellent. I think we've done some really fine work here. Let's see if everything connects as planned. Let's start with one initially. Well, it doesn't appear to be any water getting here, at least not yet. What do you mean this weird, gross, illogical pipe system isn't working?
Imagine that.
If you take a look at our splitter here, this one's getting plenty of water.
It's just pulsing. That's it's kind of heebies by jeebies.
This is this part right here. Oh, wait, the flow sucks. So without really knowing what we're doing, we're gonna use this pipeline pump. Allows fluids to be transported 20 meters upwards. Okay, well, great. Work your magic. Okay, there we go. Looks like we have more flow coming through this thing. Sorta. Water sure is weird. Ah, yes, much better. Full capacity in the pipes. That's what I like to see. Okay, how are we working, you big behemoth? Ah, yes. Burning water too fast and occasionally offline. That's what we call progress. You know what? Why am I trying?
Now, if water is used as a moderator, if you run out of water in a nuclear power plant, it will shut itself down. Problem is, if you don't have water, as we saw with Fukushima, well, nothing's cooling the residual heat, the decay heat. It took a while once all the emergency sources were disabled for fuel damage and core damage to occur, but nuclear power plants really need water. That's all I'm gonna say. There are some exotic designs that don't, but even those, they would still need water for a lot of their secondary support systems, even if it's not, even for, say, a liquid sodium cooled reactor. They would still need water for their condenser.
Hard. After all, this is a pretty large space. Let's see how many of these can fit. And then 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, that seems better. We have a couple more, quite a bit more. I have no idea how many are in here. All I know is it's more than I had, and I hope it's enough to siphon up the entire ocean.
There you go. Well, you want water? Here you go. Don't need to siphon an entire ocean, but you do need a lot of water for nuclear.
It's time to get to the piping. Ta-da! Pipes, pipes, and more pipes. I spent a little time building just a couple of pipe systems. Here, let me give you the grand tour. Basically, they start here, and then they extend out here, and then they route over here, and then God only knows where they go next. Pretty much if there's ground to cover, that's where we put pipes. And I do mean anywhere where there's ground to cover. Or if it's cliffs, also now
this is
pipes.
insane.
Heading past this first power plant, that's right.
The pipes look like they're strangling or engulfing the thing. That is crazy. Nuclear plants do use a lot of piping, but a lot of that's internal to the actual plant, not this craziness.
And we just follow this very comprehensive pipe system. How you doing there, buddy? You having a good time? And we just keep on going and follow where the pipes go until eventually we make it over where we can see water making it to all of our power plants. Who would have thought pipes were so easy? All you gotta do is just have so many running everywhere that eventually everything can connect and have water. And yeah, sure, when these things are producing power, they also produce nuclear byproducts, but that's a solved problem. Everybody wins. And with all these glorious power plants up and working again, so too are our factories. Yeehaw to beautiful, endless manufacturing.
There you go. That's how you drive human progress. Pipes everywhere, get the water, and waste can be solved by, again, alien creatures, pocket dimensions, and catapults. Wow.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about this guy. I know we need to get water up here too, and I know that seems pretty daunting, but don't you worry, I've got an idea, so hold, please.
Just run it 7 out. Just run it up the conveyor belt.
And connected. See, that wasn't so hard to get water up here. All I had to do was build a couple of water pipes. A lot of water pipes. A lot.
The shell of conveyor belt is now surrounded by a shell of those water pipes. One thing that's interesting, I'm not sure if this game models it or not, probably not, but water does shield from radiation. So if you're behind enough of those pipes, you're not going to get much in the way of dose. This is a crazy game.
A lot of water pipes. Yep, this is what I did. I started with a pipe on the ground, ran it all the way to the start of my conveyor belt tornado, and then just kept building and building and building. And before you know it, fresh water straight from the source. And boy, howdy, is this doing amazing things to the frame rate. I'm just glad that it turned out putting all this pipe down was easy. That said, while I noticed the radiation nightmare is over, oh boy, have I noticed some cursed stuff still happening. You know, I think I know what we can do. Granted, I don't want to waste all this beautiful manufacturing prowess.
It's all those pocket dimensions they're messing with space and time and reality.
This gross thing. But I think I have an idea to salvage our factory and our frame rate, called drones. I think we know what needs to happen next, don't we? Okay, so I've been at this for a little while now.
And now we're doing the same sort of craziness with drones.
I've built a couple of drones. The foggy view distance here stops you from seeing all that I've made, but let me tell you, there's a lot of drones here. In total, there's 384 drones here, quietly spread out underneath our base. And for each and every one of these, they're all set to go to gimme goodies.
There are some times in a nuclear power plant that you do use drones, typically not the flying type, just the remote operated ground vehicle type to go into high dose areas just because you don't want to send a person in there. Never done anything where you send hundreds of them flying around a little drop-off pad though.
Alright, so let's turn on the power. Oh boy, here goes nothing. Oh my god. Oh, and off they go. Off at 2 frames a second to seek fame and fortune on their pilgrimage to the sacred gimme goodies. You know what I did back at the base too? Just to add some fun is I added a bunch of explosives to things. Not sure how that works, but I'm not gonna question it. You know, so we can get that real feeling like they're trying to be shot down. Evasive maneuvers, serpentine, serpentine. And before you know it, here they are coming in to join the queue. Higher and higher and
Good
higher.
lord.
Oh my god, what are we looking at? This is actually really pretty. Huh. You know what? I guess there really isn't a limit. It looks like this really can just keep going forever. I mean, seriously, look how high this goes. There's my cannon, there's the drones, and here's how much higher they go. And boy, is it gonna be a long queue to land at this station. Ah, 1 down, an eternity of drones left to go.
That's a lot of silliness. One thing totally would expect with the drones, I was expecting each drone to carry a barrel of radioactive waste. So not only do you have them on the conveyor belts, you have them flying around you, but not sure if that's allowed by the game at all. But this was another really funny, silly video by the folks over at Let's Game It Out. I really appreciate this suggestion too. It's good to kind of laugh at everything and at games that really don't take nuclear power very seriously and just seek to perpetrate some of those stereotypes. But hey, it's all in good fun. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.